January 11th, 1993 was a day that changed wrestling television forever. WWE debuted Monday Night Raw, live from the Manhattan Center in New York City. And ever since then, WWE has produced some great moments, some great wrestlers, some great memories from Monday Night Raw. 25 years going back from 1993 until today. We've seen many standout moments, like I said, many wrestlers that have benefited from appearing on Monday Night Raw, many just great episodes, many bad episodes, but you tend to get that with long-running TV shows. And this is definitely a long-running TV show. It is the longest-running weekly episodic television show in television history. As WWE says every single week. But yeah, Monday Night Raw, 25th anniversary comes to you live this Monday from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. I'm not going to the show itself, but I will be watching it because it is a big moment. It is a big show. It's going to be great to see a lot of old wrestlers come back. I hear Austin's coming back. I see The Undertaker's coming back, even though that might be representing something coming down the road at WrestleMania, but whatever the case may be, it's going to be good to see all these guys back. In the meantime, since it is Raw 25, I figured let's go back and take a look at Raw history a little bit, and let's do a Q&A. It's been a while since I've done a serious Q&A. I did the fun Q&A last Monday, and I usually don't do Q&As outside of Monday, but I decided to do one today in honor of Raw 25. And the reason being is because on Monday, I will be doing a Q&A Royal Rumble themed, since the Sunday afterwards is the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So if you have any Royal Rumble themed questions, send them when you get a chance. In the meantime, Monday Night Raw themed Q&A here at the Unlimited YouTube channel, and at the end of this video, leave a like, leave a dislike, subscribe, share this video, comment on it, do whatever you want. I don't care. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch. So let's get started. Paul Andrew Biello asks, this isn't really a Monday Night Raw themed question, but I'll allow it anyway. Given the current set of allegations, whether true or false, would you, being WWE, proceed with the main event your fan base already doesn't want to see, meaning Roman versus Brock? Whether true or false, if I was the WWE, I wouldn't do the main event. And the reason being isn't even because we've seen it before. It's because what does Roman Reigns really have to gain from this? In the time span between him losing at WrestleMania 31 until now, he's held 3 world championships, I believe, 3 or 4. He's been a U.S. champion, he's been an Intercontinental champion, the current Intercontinental champion. He's won... did he wait a minute, sorry. He did not win the Royal Rumble. That came before. Sorry, it's a little bit late, so my mind's a little bit scattered. But, yeah, he's won championships. He's main evented WrestleMania 32. He's main evented WrestleMania 33. He retired The Undertaker, or at least we'd hope he retired The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. But what does Roman Reigns, what else does he really have to gain from this except more heat and more reason for people to hate him? And in the meanwhile, what does Brock really have to gain from it? You know, he's had a forgettable Universal Championship reign already. I don't know. I really don't know. If I had my druthers, I would not do the main event. Like I said, not even because we've seen it before, but just because there's really no point to it. There's no point to it. You know, if you want to have that beating the big dog or beating the champion type of storyline, beating the long reigning dominant champion who's been undefeated for a year, then build somebody else up and do it properly. You've had chance after chance with Strowman, you've had a chance with Joe, and yet we decide to go back to Roman Reigns. It's ridiculous. Also, do you see Finn Balor turning heel? At this point, I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude or mean, but at this point, I don't care what they're doing with Finn Balor. I just hope that they think a little bit and they don't have him win the Rumble. Let's just not have him win the Rumble. Let's keep it at that. Chris Rubio, what is your favorite Raw main event? One of my favorites, I don't know if it is my favorite, but one of them is actually John Cena versus Shawn Michaels live from London, or not live from London, but in London in that 1 hour main event match back in 2007. That was probably one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites is Rock versus Mankind back in 1999, January 4th, 1999. Basically because, that pretty much put the nail in the coffin on WCW. And just everything that happened during that match, just all the shenanigans with all the interference and Austin and Vince and everybody. It was just a crazy match, and it was fun to watch. Another one that's a favorite of mine is the one actually you mentioned in the next question, Lita versus Trish Stratus. It was a really good match. It's back when, women main eventing Monday Night Raw was almost unheard of, and they did it, and they did it well. Now WWE wants to make sure that they do it every now and again and have all these stipulation matches and whatever the case may be. But back then, great, awesome. Trying to think of some other ones. I'm pretty sure there have been other ones that I just can't think of. I don't know if it was a main event, but I remember Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels had a really good Iron Man match on Raw. I don't think it main evented though, but it was a good match nonetheless. I'm a little bit stumped. You know what? No, I'm stumped. I honestly don't know what else. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Which women's main event was better, Lita versus Trish Stratus for the Women's Championship or Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the Raw Women's Championship? Lita versus Trish, not even close. Not even close. I'm sure the Charlotte-Sasha match on Raw, I don't even remember it. I'm sure it had plenty of botches in it because that's the typical Charlotte match. But, yeah, Trish and Lita, because at least back then, it was unheard of, and it was a big deal, and you had two women who could legit get over. Whereas today, you have a roster full of women that are kind of blended together to a point where nobody gets over. So yeah, Lita, Trish, easily, hands down, not even close. Favorite matches from 2014 to 2016. It's a weird length of years. Honestly, one of my favorite matches, even though it didn't really lead to much, was Seth Rollins versus Neville. I'm not even kidding. Seth Rollins versus Neville was a really solid match, and it was one of my favorites in that time span. I guess you can say, or I guess maybe the Fatal 4-Way Universal title match, where Triple H interfered and turned on Rollins to set up their little feud, even though it really didn't set anything up until January. I don't know. But yeah, Rollins versus Neville was a really good match. Um, that's all I can think of now. Sorry. Did you like the faction known as Nexus? When they debuted on that June 2010 episode of Raw, yes. I thought that they had the potential to do something different. It wasn't like you were creating a faction of, older guys like the Big Show and other guys or whatever. You were introducing new talent at a time where WWE really needed some new talent. So, yes, at the time, I liked them. And I liked their progression, over the first month and a half, June and July. And I liked them all the way until they got to SummerSlam. And then they lost to Team Cena in the most predictable way possible. And unfortunately, that match ruins their entire momentum. Ruins all of their momentum, excuse me. It essentially buried 7 guys to a point where, for the longest time, 5 of them weren't even, or 4 of them, weren't even with the company. Actually, let's go back for a second. If you look at the 7 members of Nexus, I'm not going to count Daniel Bryan, but the only one that's still with the company is Heath Slater. Heath Slater, not even the guy that won the first season of NXT, is with the company today. But the guy that finished, I believe he finished didn't even finish in the top 3 because I think Otunga finished in second. Or is Otunga still employed? I don't know. He's irrelevant. But Heath Slater's the only one still wrestling on the main roster today. Just think about that for a second. But yeah, I liked them until SummerSlam, and then after that it was just a waste of time. Favorite main events from 2011 to 2016. You're really going, you're really picking some odd years. Favorite main events. I don't know if that Rollins-Neville match main evented, but it was one of them. Favorite matches, yeah, it was one of them. The night after WrestleMania 29, and this wasn't the main event either, where Ziggler cashed in and beat Del Rio and won the world title. Thought that was fun. That same show, Randy Orton faced Sheamus, and the crowd just, even though I don't really like the crowd doing this, but I can make an exception every now and then, when they were just chanting the most off-the-wall things like, "We want ice cream," and chanting for the ref and chanting for the commentators. Oh my god, that was great. This is also kind of, it's tough for me because I didn't watch that much Raw during that time. 2011, yeah. 2012, no. 2013, no. 2014, I started to pick it up again. But then 2015 and later, I didn't really watch Raw that much. I would occasionally catch an episode or two, but I would never watch anything in full. So yeah, that's the only problem I have answering this question. Sorry. Did you enjoy the Stone Cold Steve Austin Mr. McMahon storyline? Absolutely. Absolutely, yes, 100%. It's the feud that launched Stone Cold Steve Austin's reign at the top. It's a feud that tremendously helped Stone Cold Steve Austin. It tremendously helped build up the Mr. McMahon character. And if you look at WCW, it took Vince McMahon getting in the ring against Stone Cold Steve Austin to beat Nitro in the ratings. Just think about that for a second. It took the owner of the company, who's not a wrestler, to get into the ring and wrestle, and to wrestle, of all people, Stone Cold Steve Austin, to beat Nitro in the ratings. And that began the rise of the WWE and the fall of WCW. Excuse me. So yeah, I liked that feud better than I did his feud with Rock. I really, really liked the Austin McMahon storyline, and I don't think there are many people that don't. Because look at what it represented. Represented the launch of the Attitude Era. It represented the downfall of WCW, or at least the start of the downfall of WCW. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Walter Main, what would you say is the best match in Raw history? Well, I named one of them earlier, and it was the hour-long Michaels-Cena match. Oh man, I'm trying to think of old school episodes and old school matches. Was it on Raw where that Buff Bagwell Booker T match took place? Whose ever idea it was to run WCW branded matches. Good job. Great job. My God. My God. Best match in Raw history. Well, like I said, I named one of them. Like I said earlier, I actually named two of them. Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels. What else? What was it, like, wasn't it TLC 3 or TLC 4 that took place on Raw? Might be wrong, I don't know. Probably. Ugh. Sorry, I'm just trying to think outside the box. That's all I can think of right now. Sorry. What is your favorite Raw memory and moment? Just the off-the-wall stuff Stone Cold Steve Austin did with Vince McMahon. You know, from the Zamboni, to the hospital, to the beer truck, to the gun. You know, everything about what Austin did was just entertaining. And even going back and watching old episodes of Raw on the network, it's still entertaining. And I wish we got some of that entertainment today. So yeah, that was one of them. But I think my favorite Raw moment or memory was the This Is Your Life. Mainly because it was Raw's highest rated segment. I believe to this day that still is the record for the highest rated Raw segment. So yeah, that's definitely up there. What do you think is or was the best Raw theme song? I liked Burned It to the Ground by Nickelback, and I liked Across the Nation as well. Wasn't really a fan of To Be Loved, and I don't really dig their new theme song either. I don't know. But yeah, Across the Nation and Burn It to the Ground. What do you think is the most important match in Raw history? Rock versus Mick Foley or Mankind on January 4th, 1999. I think that was the most important one. What do you say is the most important segment in Raw history? Again, This Is Your Life. Or, like I mentioned earlier, the segment where Vince and Austin had a match. Definitely, both of them are up there. What is the saddest moment in Raw history? I'll actually go a little bit outside of the box and say Edge when he announced his retirement, because it was a little bit out of nowhere. We've seen some retirements over the years, like Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, but their retirements were expected. They were at the end of their careers, whereas Edge, I think he could have went for another 3 or 4 years. could have had a nice strong run. But ultimately that was probably the saddest moment and the moment that caught me off guard. Also, the episode where Eddie Guerrero died, and they paid tribute to him. The episode where the episode after Owen Hart passed away as well. That was pretty sad too, and I believe that's still the highest rated Raw show in history. Think about that. It took a death to get the highest ratings in Raw history. Wow. Wow. But yeah, those are the couple that I could think of. What is the funniest moment in Raw history? This will be the last question. Like I said, a lot of the off-the-wall stuff with Austin, the This Is Your Life, was funny. I really liked Chris Jericho in '99 and 2000 when he was a babyface. Even when they turned him heel, he managed to be entertaining. But still, back then, Jericho as a babyface, I really liked. Funniest moment in Raw history. Oh, well, how can I forget the inaugural Monday Night Raw where you had Bobby Heenan try to make his way into the Manhattan Center, and he's trying to disguise himself. He's dressing up as a woman. He's dressing up as someone else. He's doing this. He's doing that. And he's trying to get in. That was probably one of the funniest moments as well. I thought the whole Pillman's got a gun stuff was funny and off the wall crazy at the same time. Well, what else? There's more. Even though the feud was kind of stupid and shouldn't have happened, when Punk came back after he, won the belt and then came back 8 days later, I still hate that storyline so much. Oh my god. It was the biggest waste of time ever. But after he came back, even though he was feuding with Kevin Nash and Triple H, he cut some pretty funny promos, so I'll give him that too. What else? Funniest moments. A lot of stuff Rock did in the Attitude Era, and even after that. Yeah, definitely up there too. I mean, there are a lot of long gaps where there wasn't really anything entertaining. Like the mid '90s, the late, or I shouldn't even say late 2000s, the 2010 and beyond. So I'm trying to think of the times in between. Yeah, that's all I can think of. Sorry. But anyway, thank you so much for asking all of your questions about Monday Night Raw. Hopefully Raw 25 gives us something entertaining, because God knows WWE needs some entertainment these days. Like I said, Monday there will be a Royal Rumble Q&A. Friday, or next Friday I should say, the Friday before the Royal Rumble, the second ever Unlimited Marathon will take place. So from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., you will get a new video every hour on the hour. There will be a new episode of the Unlimited Podcast. Will probably be recorded Wednesday or Thursday and posted Friday. So you will see that as well. We'll be giving our Royal Rumble predictions. There will be a Royal Rumble review. There will be plenty of videos after that. I'm trying to revive the channel the best way I can. Is just pumping out more videos. Hopefully people subscribe, and if they don't, whatever. because I have fun doing these videos, and I have fun getting you guys involved, participating. I like making it interactive. I like making it fun as I can. Thank you all for watching this video, subscribing to this channel, liking this video, disliking this video, sharing this video, commenting on this video, doing whatever you want involving this video. See you later.